Okay, so have you ever heard of a blue-collar billionaire?
I can't say that I have.
Well, get ready to be amazed because today we are diving deep into the incredible story of Larry Janesky.
Interesting.
This guy built a massive business empire, not in Silicon Valley, but by doing something a lot of us might overlook, helping people with their homes.
Yeah, that's not the first thing that comes to mind when you think billionaire.
Right. Our source today is a YouTube video where Noah Kagan interviews Larry Janesky.
Oh, I've seen some of his stuff.
So have you heard of Janesky before?
Yeah, I think so, but refresh my memory.
Okay, so Janesky started his journey at just 17 with, get this, only $188,000.
Wow, starting young.
And now his businesses rake in a mind-blowing $600 million every single year.
600 million. I mean, that's just incredible, especially for something that isn't, the typical tech startup.
Exactly. And you know what's even more fascinating? It took him 40 years to get there.
40 years. That's a long game.
Yeah, no overnight success story here. This is a story about hard work, persistence, and a slow and steady climb to the top.
I like that. It's kind of refreshing to hear a success story that isn't all about instant gratification.
Totally agree. So let's break this down. No coding, no venture capital,
Yeah.
no IPO.
Nope.
Janesky's company focuses on basement, waterproofing, crawl space repair. The stuff that keeps our homes safe and dry.
The essential stuff that often gets overlooked.
Exactly. Not exactly what you'd picture when you think billionaire.
Right. But that's part of what makes his story so compelling. He saw an opportunity in an industry that many people might consider unglamorous, and he turned it into a massive success.
And you know what? He actually sees this unsexy industry as a huge advantage.
Really? How so?
Well, he talks about how AI and outsourcing are major concerns for a lot of people these days, right?
Yeah, that's a big one.
But his employees, they don't have to worry about robots taking their jobs.
That's a really good point. You can't exactly send a robot to crawl under a house and fix a leaky basement.
Exactly. There's real security in that kind of work, and Janesky really emphasizes that.
I bet there's something to be said for having a skill that can't be automated.
Totally. And speaking of skills, Janesky has so much respect for the people who do this tough work. He paints a very vivid picture of what it's like cramped, muddy crawl spaces.
Yeah, no thanks.
Definitely not for the faint of heart.
I can imagine.
But he makes it clear that these are highly skilled professionals who earn a good living over $100,000 a year.
That's a good reminder that you don't need a fancy degree to make a good living. There's a lot of value in skilled trades.
Absolutely. And he actually quoted a saying about this.
Go on.
Okay, so it goes, "He who works with his hands is a laborer. He who works with his hands and his head is a craftsman. He who works with his hands, his head, and his heart is an artist."
Wow, that's really powerful. I think that perfectly sums up Janesky's philosophy and his respect for the trades.
Right. Okay, so we've got a guy who starts young, works incredibly hard, and builds a billion-dollar business by solving a very practical problem. But the question is, what was the secret to his success? Did he just stumble upon a gold mine, or was there a strategy involved?
Well, according to Janesky, it wasn't about hitting it big all at once. He describes his success as lots of little jumps.
Lots of little jumps.
Yeah, he wasn't looking for a quick exit. He was building something for the long haul.
And you know what? His story with Dr. Energy Saver really highlights this long game approach.
Oh, yeah, I remember him talking about that.
So he actually went $5.5 million in the hole with that business.
Whoa, seriously?
Yeah, his partner bailed and even sued him.
I can't imagine the stress of that situation. Most people would have thrown in the towel.
I know, right? But Janesky is clearly not a quitter. He stuck with it for 11 years.
11 years. That's incredible. That's some serious dedication.
It is, and now Dr. Energy Saver is a profitable venture that helps homeowners make their homes more energy efficient.
So not only did he persevere, he also ended up creating something really beneficial for people.
Exactly. It's a testament to his vision and his commitment to making a difference. 11 years is a long time to weather that kind of storm. I think that's one of the things that really sets Janesky apart, his persistence, his willingness to overcome obstacles, and his belief in the long game.
Absolutely. He's living proof that success is often a marathon, not a sprint. And sometimes you have to push through some really tough times to get to where you want to be.
And you know what else might surprise you about Janesky? He's a huge advocate for work-life balance.
Really? That's not something you hear every day from a CEO, especially one who built a billion-dollar empire.
I know, right? but he says he hasn't worked a weekend in 30 years.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm officially impressed. That's really walking the walk.
And he even challenges this whole idea of the workaholic CEO. He says if you have to work 70 hours a week, you're doing it wrong.
I love that. It's a good reminder that success shouldn't come at the cost of your health, your relationships, your life outside of work.
Absolutely. Janesky clearly understands that there's more to life than just work and money, and he's very vocal about that.
What does he say about it?
He says that true fulfillment comes from relationships, the impact you make on the world, and leaving things better than you found them.
That's such a great perspective. You know, it's easy to get caught up in the pursuit of wealth and forget about the things that really matter.
He even jokes that at your funeral, no one's going to brag about your bank balance.
So true. It's the impact you have on others that truly defines your legacy.
And speaking of impact, let's talk about those motivational tapes Janesky used to listen to.
Yeah.
Remember we saw that old cassette player in his
Oh,
office?
yeah. That was cool. I was wondering about that.
So those tapes apparently played a huge role in shaping his mindset.
Interesting. What kind of tapes were they?
He's a big fan of Brian Tracy and Earl Nightingale.
Oh, yeah, those are classics.
Yeah, but get this. His friends used to tease him about it.
Really?
Yeah, they thought it was corny, so he actually hid it from them.
Oh, that's kind of endearing. Just shows that he wasn't afraid to embrace what worked for him, even if it wasn't cool.
It's like this self-made billionaire secretly listening to motivational tapes. It just goes to show that you don't have to follow the crowd to achieve great things.
Totally. You have to find what works for you and be confident in your own path.
And it speaks to the power of believing in yourself, even when others doubt you. Janesky was convinced that cultivating a positive mindset was essential to his success, and he wasn't afraid to invest in himself, even in unconventional ways.
It's a good reminder that personal growth is an ongoing journey, and sometimes you have to step outside of your comfort zone to really level up.
Now let's talk about his team. Remember those employees we met during the office tour? They'd be with the company for 9, 16, even 21 years.
Wow, that's incredible. You don't see that kind of loyalty very often these days.
I know, right? It's a testament to Janesky's approach to building a strong and dedicated team.
It seems like he's really created a special kind of company culture.
He understands that constant turnover is costly and disruptive. So he's created an environment that values employees and fosters a sense of belonging.
Yeah, I bet that makes a huge difference in terms of morale and productivity.
And it's not just about keeping people happy. It's about trusting them to do their jobs. Janesky says he rarely gets calls about problems because his team is empowered to handle things on their own.
That's a really important aspect of leadership. Delegation isn't just about freeing up your time, it's about empowering your team and fostering a sense of ownership.
And you know what's interesting? Janesky didn't start out with an MBA or a fancy degree. He learned carpentry in vocational school, which gave him a solid foundation to build upon.
That's a good reminder that there are many paths to success, and vocational skills can be incredibly valuable, especially in industries like Janesky's.
He was able to combine his practical skills with his business acumen to create something truly remarkable.
It's like he had this unique blend of hands-on experience and entrepreneurial vision.
And let's not forget his marketing savvy. His company generates a whopping 15,000 leads per year, and they respond to every single one within 60 seconds.
Wow, that's impressive. In today's world where speed and responsiveness are everything, that's a major competitive advantage.
He's figured out how to make a traditional industry thrive in the modern world. And on top of all that, he's a passionate inventor with 32 patents to his name. He even showed off a dehumidifier and an air purifier that were designed by his son.
That's amazing. It's great to see that entrepreneurial spirit being passed down through the family. It also highlights another key ingredient in Janesky's success, his drive to innovate and improve.
Always looking for ways to do things better.
Exactly. And then there's that incredible office space, a $13 million masterpiece designed to look like an 1880s mining town.
It's complete with 100-year-old desks and reclaimed items from old factories. Talk about thinking outside the box.
It's not your typical corporate environment, that's for sure. It's a reflection of Janesky's unique personality, his love of history, and his desire to create a workspace that's both inspiring and functional.
It makes you wonder how much our physical surroundings actually influence our creativity and productivity.
Yeah.
Maybe we should all be thinking a bit more creatively about our workspaces.
I think there's something to be said for creating an environment that reflects your values and inspires your team. It's like Janesky's office is an extension of his brand, authentic, unique, and built to last.
But at the end of the day, despite his billionaire status, Janesky proudly identifies as blue-collar.
That's a powerful statement. It speaks to his roots, his values, and his respect for the work that built his empire.
His story really challenges our assumptions about wealth and success. It's a reminder that you don't need a fancy degree or a tech startup to make it big. Sometimes the most practical solutions lead to the greatest rewards.
I love that. It's a really inspiring message, and I think it's something that a lot of people need to hear. It's about finding your own path, embracing your strengths, and not being afraid to be different.
So what really stands out to you about Janesky's journey? What's the most surprising or insightful thing we've learned so far?
You know what really strikes me? It's how Janesky built his success on something that will always be in demand, helping people with their homes. No matter how much technology advances, people will always need a safe and comfortable place to live.
That's such a good point.
Yeah.
And Janesky has found a way to meet that need in a way that's both profitable and meaningful.
Exactly. It's a win-win situation. He's solving a real problem and creating value for people while also building a successful business. It's a great model for aspiring entrepreneurs.
Totally agree. So I think we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive into Larry Janesky's world.
Yeah, we have. It's been a fascinating conversation so far.
But there's still so much more to explore. We've only just scratched the surface of this incredible story.
I'm ready for more. What else is there to uncover about this blue-collar billionaire?
Well, stay tuned, because when we come back, we'll be diving even deeper into the world of Larry Janesky. We'll be talking about his innovative spirit, his incredible office space, his commitment to personal growth, and so much more.
Awesome. Can't wait.
So grab your favorite beverage, get comfy, and we'll be right back with you in a flash.
It's interesting, isn't it? We always hear about these innovations, happening in these high-tech labs with scientists in lab coats.
Yeah, cutting-edge stuff.
But Janesky's story shows us innovation can happen anywhere.
So true.
Oh,
And he proves it, too. Like, he wasn't content with just fixing basements. He's always developing new products and solutions.
he's definitely not one to rest on his laurels.
Not at all. Remember how many patents he has? It's insane.
Remind me.
32 patents.
Wow, that is a lot. It's clear that he's got a real passion for problem solving.
Oh, yeah. And remember that dehumidifier he showed us in the video?
Yeah, the one his son designed?
That's right. It just goes to show that he's not just building a business, he's building a legacy.
Absolutely. And speaking of legacy, we have to talk about that amazing office space again.
I know, right? It's not just a cool place to work. It's actually a really smart business move.
How so?
Well, think about it. It creates such a unique and memorable experience for employees and clients.
Yeah, I bet it helps with recruiting, too. I mean, who wouldn't want to work in an old-timey mining town?
Exactly. It sets them apart from the competition, it tells a story, and it creates this amazing atmosphere.
It's like he's created a destination, not just an office.
And imagine the impact that has on company culture, employee morale, creativity.
Yeah, it shows that he cares about creating a positive and inspiring environment for his team.
Makes you think, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe we should all be thinking a bit more out of the box when it comes to our workspaces.
I think there's a lot to be said for creating a space that reflects your values and inspires you and your team.
So we've talked about his business strategies, his incredible team, his innovative spirit. But what about Janesky the person? What makes him tick? What are his core values?
Well, one thing that really stood out to me was his emphasis on personal growth. Remember those motivational tapes he used to listen to?
Oh, yeah, I have to admit, I was a little skeptical at first.
Yeah.
But the more I learn about him, the more I realize that those tapes were actually a huge part of his journey.
He wasn't afraid to invest in himself, even when others thought it was weird or corny.
And it paid off big time. He understood that his mindset was just as important as his business skills.
Absolutely. And that commitment to personal growth isn't just for him either. He encourages his employees to learn and develop new skills, too.
He gets it. A company is only as strong as its people, right?
Exactly. And he's investing in their growth, which ultimately benefits everyone.
It's so easy to get caught up in that hustle culture mentality, working crazy hours, sacrificing everything for success.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It can be hard to find that balance.
But Janesky's story is a good reminder that it's possible to build a successful business without burning yourself out. You can prioritize your well-being and your personal life.
He's living proof that you don't have to choose between success and happiness. You can have both.
And it's inspiring to see someone who's achieved so much still make time for the things that truly matter. Family, friends, personal growth.
It all comes back to his core values. Hard work, integrity, respect for others, and a commitment to making a positive impact on the world.
I think you hit the nail on the head. Those values are at the heart of everything he does.
It's not just about making money for him, it's about making a difference.
And that's something I think we can all learn from. So what about you? What's resonating with you the most from his story? What's your biggest takeaway so far?
You know what really sticks with me? It's that success doesn't have to follow a conventional path. You don't need a fancy degree or a Silicon Valley startup to make a real impact. You can find opportunity in unexpected places.
I love that. It's about being open to possibilities and seeing the potential in things that others might overlook.
Exactly. And it's about focusing on solving real problems for people.
That's where the true value lies. So what do you say we shift gears a bit now and talk about what all of this means for our listeners? How can they apply these lessons to their own lives?
Sounds good to me. Let's do it.
Okay, so we spent this whole deep dive unpacking Larry Janesky's story.
Yeah.
And wow, what a journey, right? From humble beginnings to blue-collar billionaire.
Yeah, his story is seriously inspiring.
It makes you think about your own path to success.
It's easy to get caught up in what we see online, all those tech startups and overnight success stories.
The get-rich-quick myth.
Yeah, exactly. But Janesky's story reminds us there's no one-size-fits-all formula for success.
You got to find your own way.
Exactly. Find what you're good at, what you're passionate about, and what problems you can solve.
And then just go for it.
I love that. He saw an opportunity in an industry most people wouldn't even consider, and he turned it into a massive success.
And he did it by mastering the basics.
The fundamental.
Yeah. Hard work, persistence, building a strong team, treating people right.
And of course, having that positive mindset.
Oh yeah, those motivational tapes. Never underestimate the power of a good pep talk.
It's a reminder that we're all works in progress, right? Always learning and growing.
Janesky embraced that growth mindset, and it clearly paid off.
Big time. So what do you think, how can our listeners apply these lessons to their own lives?
That's the big question, right?
Yeah.
I think the biggest takeaway is that you don't have to follow a conventional path to achieve your goals. You don't need a fancy degree or a Silicon Valley startup to make a real impact.
It's about finding your own unique path.
Exactly. What might seem ordinary to you could actually be the foundation of something amazing.
Like imagine you're really good at baking cakes.
So good.
You've always thought of it as just a hobby.
Right.
But what if it could be more? Could you build a business around that passion? Janesky's story tells us, heck yeah, you can.
And don't discount the value of those skills you might think of as blue collar. The world needs skilled tradespeople.
Absolutely. There's a real sense of satisfaction that comes from working with your hands and creating something tangible.
Plus, those skills are in high demand. Remember, Janesky's employees are making over $100,000 a year.
Yeah, and they have the security of knowing their jobs aren't going to be outsourced or replaced by robots anytime soon.
That's huge. So if you're feeling inspired by Janesky's story, don't let that feeling fade. Take action. What's one small step you can take today to move closer to your goals?
It could be anything. Doing some research, reaching out to someone in your field, even just brainstorming some ideas.
Remember, every journey starts with a single step.
And you don't have to have it all figured out right away. It's about embracing the journey and learning as you go.
Janesky's path wasn't always smooth sailing either. He faced setbacks, he made mistakes, and he had to adapt along the way.
That's all part of it.
And if you hit a roadblock, don't be afraid to ask for help. Find a mentor, join a community, connect with people who can support you.
Having a strong network makes a world of difference.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's leave our listeners with a thought-provoking question. What hidden talents or passions do you have that could be the foundation of your own success story?
What skills or experiences are you taking for granted? That might be the key to unlocking your full potential.
Think about it. What's your unique contribution to the world? What problems can you solve? What legacy do you want to leave behind?
We'd love to hear your thoughts. Share your insights, your aha moments, and your dreams in the comments below. And if this deep dive has inspired you, pass it on. Share it with someone who needs to hear this message.
Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey into the world of a blue-collar billionaire. Until next time, keep diving deep and never stop believing in the power of your own potential.